This particular paragraph had a profound effect on me, and I just broke down in tears. The idea that Wāhine did not karakia or maintain our own ritual traditions is unrealistic and historically unfounded. As conductors of the energies of life, death, and renewal through cycles of their wharatangata, Wāhine have always and will always priestess the sacred. Wāhine mā, new worlds are stirring in te kore, the cosmogenic womb of creation. Sing them forward, chant, breathe, dance, and summon them forward. Step forward with your rituals that birth a new time cycle on the planet. He wāhine, he whenua. Some world renewal ceremonies only the whare tangata can do.
Kia ora. Are you a woman navigating midlife, menopause and beyond? I'm Megan Kerr, your midlife mentor and psychosynthesis counsellor and coach. Join me as we dive deep into the heart of midlife, unravelling the complexities of menopause and exploring uncharted territories that lie beyond. Together, we'll navigate through self-doubt, bid farewell to people-pleasing, conquer imposter syndrome and tame those overwhelming feelings. It's time to celebrate this vibrant second chapter of life, claiming your authentic confidence and courage along the way. Midlife is not a time to settle. It is a time to unleash your purpose, make an impact uniquely your own, all while prioritizing your well-being. So buckle up for conversations that resonate with the essence of your midlife journey. Are you ready? Let's begin. Welcome to the podcast, Priscilla Te Hau. I'm so excited that you agreed to come and talk to me. I stumbled across the Ruahine Menopause Empowerment Symposium on social media, on Facebook, and it has interested me over the months. And so when I saw you talking about it, I really wanted to deepen the conversation and find out more about it, find out more about you, and really what instigated you to create this. So can you start us off in that kōrero?
So, ko wai au, ko Priscilla Te Hau tōku ingoa, he uri a hau no Ngāti Whakauē, tūhaurangi Ngāti Wāhio, Ngai Tamanihiri, me Ngāti Kahungunu ki here taunga. He onoi, I am based here in Rotorua, and I guess the seed was planted through my own journey and that's when I created the Te Ao Māori Innovations, and Te Ao Māori Innovations is really around awakening the Māori. So wherever there is a need, Te Ao Māori will awaken the Māori in that, I guess, the current issue or the current need for wāhine at any particular time. We rise to that occasion, and in this particular, I guess, time or event is Ruahinetanga and menopause. So I first started perimenopause in 2017, and then of course I used patches, the HRT, which worked really well, and then the symptoms went away. And then it wasn't until 2021 they came back in full force again, and then of course I used HRT, which worked really well for me. And then at the beginning of this year, during my mahi, the anxiety started to kick in, and it was affecting my mahi.
Yeah.
And so, I was in total despair, felt like a failure in my mahi. And I was just sitting in my lounge, and I've got 2 photos of both sets of grandparents. And I was just like crying out to my grandmothers, what do I do? What did you do? What did you do? And that's when I decided, well, okay, I need to find out what our tupuna did pre-colonial, what practices did they do. And it all led to our atua wāhine. All my research led to that. And that pre-colonial times, we were more a matriarchal society.
Right.
And Dr. Ngāhuia Murphy actually mentions that in one of her puka puka. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And so you mentioned the book there. What is that book? Because we talked about that before we started. Can you share a little bit about that?
So this is Dr. Ngahuia's book, Intuitive Ritual, a mana wahine source book. So it has lots of, I guess, rituals and ceremonies that we as wahine can celebrate and utilize in our time of need. I started reading this book a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't been able to get past a paragraph, page 44. In fact, I don't know if I can read it out to you, but this particular, this particular paragraph had a profound effect on me, and I just broke down in tears. And so I'm working through that process of what that has, I guess, revealed or unearthed for me. And so I feel like this is like a transformative journey for me, and this puka puka has helped me immensely. So I'll read the paragraph. The idea that wahine did not karakia or maintain our own ritual traditions is unrealistic and historically unfounded. As conductors of the energies of life, death, and renewal through cycles of their wharatangata, wahine have always and will always priestess the sacred. Wahine ma, new worlds are stirring in te kore, the cosmogenic womb of creation. Sing them forward, chant, breathe, dance, and summon them forward. Step forward with your rituals that birth a new time cycle on the planet. He wahine, he whenua. Some world renewal ceremonies only the whare tangata can do. So I'm still figuring out why that brought on no emotion for me.
Yeah. Got you. I now must rush out and buy the book. But like as you were reading it, it's hard for me to put words to it, but there's like a deeper connection opening up. And I wonder if that has been part of your experience as well. Wow, what a profound opening there. And it takes time to work through these processes and connect back through with our ancestors and then sort of bring that forward, I suppose, in our own way. Yeah. But so you mentioned that you had anxiety arising, which we know is so common in perimenopause and postmenopause, and that was really impacting your mahi. And so what then, and you called to your grandmothers, and then what was the next piece for you? What showed up?
During my research, I read many theses. One was written by Rotorua Smith, and that was around ceremonies. And I just felt like I was out of my depth. And it was really because I was experiencing brain fog, anxiety, and it just became a little bit overwhelming for me having all this knowledge in my head from the academic material that I was reading. And I was like, there must be an easier way. These women have already done, the research. So let's bring them together. And then that's when the idea came about that, okay, let's create a framework or a Māori model of practice or a resource that we could utilise for wahine going through. So that's when I started putting the word out there. Let's I want to create a symposium, and I was still working at the time. And I just felt that, okay, if I'm going to walk down this path, I need to close one door so that, my new journey can begin. And as we move on in our careers, I guess our purpose evolves. And so I've come from a hairdressing background. And then I realized that I wanted to move into an area where I could help or support people to feel good on the inside, because I was just doing the whole outside. And, in my hairdressing career, you're always a listening ear, trusting ear. And I wanted to do more with that. I wanted to help people and empower people. So then I moved into the social services and finished the counselling. And it just evolved into working for our iwi here in Rotorua, working towards ending homelessness.
Wow.
So, I left a job I loved. I had to leave. I felt that I had to leave and focus fully on building a framework for Ruahinetanga.
So you could give it your all.
Well, it was to improve my health as well, because I guess the deciding factor to actually leave my mahi was I was in the middle of a presentation and the hot flushes came, or the hot flush, the anxiety, and then because I was so anxious during that, of course, the brain fog, I forgot what I was doing, and luckily a colleague of mine stepped in. She could see I was struggling.
Yeah.
And the interesting point is that even though she was he wāhine, she had no idea what I was experiencing, and she couldn't relate when I was trying to explain what I was going through in that moment. And then,
Isn't that incredible? And I remember before, because I went through perimenopause quite early in my, early 40s. And I remember having no real sense of what women went through in menopause until I went through it. And that piece that you talk about when you're doing a presentation and you get the hot flush and you get the brain fog. I remember once I was doing a talk and I had this mild vertigo because of the hot flush and the brain fog. And then your system gets anxious, and it's just a whole thing, but it's not understood what the cause of it is and really how we can support ourselves. So I think as wahine in the workplace, we often feel the need to sort of hide it and keep it under the radar instead of bringing it out into the open and creating better understanding around it. Yeah. What an incredible offering that you're bringing forward. Can you tell us a little bit about the symposium?
So the symposium, we had Dr. Kahuia Murphy, who is, of course, going to be talking about rituals and ceremonies related to Ruahinetanga. And then we've got Dr. Sally Rye, who's done lots of research around gut health and the connection to our brains and how that can affect our hormone function levels, I guess, or balancing out those. So those are the types of things that we want to put into the framework. So if you look at Te Whare Tapawhā, the kōrero will slot into each of those dimensions. And then we've got Āwhitia Mihaere, who has done lots of mahi, and she is invited from all over the world to speak on the mahi that she does, in particular with Te Whare Tangata. So, and she actually has a rongoā for symptoms, perimenopausal symptoms. And I don't want to reveal too much.
Okay.
It's not quite a controversial whakaaro around Ruahinetanga, and that actually she doesn't believe in it. But I will leave that for the kōrero, because I don't know what's going to come out of it. That, and because I had a conversation with Āwhitia, and I said to her, okay, so what do we call the framework then? We'll have to, look at all of those different things. So it's going to be a very interesting kōrero. So I'm saving her for last.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to kind of I just know everyone's going to be like, wow, what just happened?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that just sounds so exciting. And is your hope that the framework will start to be built from the symposium?
Yes.
Right.
And I've been approached by a couple of GPs. One is here in Rotorua and one down in the Hawke's Bay. And I think Linda Deer had a kōrero
Oh,
on.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to be meeting with her on Friday, or, talking with Linda as to how they can support the framework. And because, I don't want it just to be purely around Te Ao Māori, because I believe we have to give our wāhine options.
Yeah.
And as long as we have all the information that is needed, then I'll feel comfortable, with the options. And we've also been approached by Whāmako who are interested in supporting us in some way, whether that be resources or,
Wow.
food.
Yeah.
So, it's really quite unbelievable how this has evolved, this journey has evolved. And I'm excited, nervous, overwhelmed. But it's awesome.
All the things. I can hear how much it's gaining momentum and piquing people's interest in different areas, and that they, like Linda Deer, wanting to contribute and potentially learn from the symposium as well, of course, right? So exciting, because I'm assuming nothing like this has been done in modern times.
No, and I was chatting with someone the other day. I was like, is it, because I'm at that age that everyone I talk to is all, going through it, or because no one was talking about it, 10 years ago, not that I know
No,
of.
they weren't.
So it's time. I think it's time. And that paragraph that I read out in this puka puka kind of is, that's kind of like the start. It's like there's a shift in the universe, without getting too airy-fairy. There's a consciousness, an awakening, where we are needing more than just, and there's nothing against the medical, medical, medicines, but I think our people, Māori, non-Māori, wherever you're from, are wanting something more, something deep. And I can, in my own experience, Raina Ferris, who is from Poranga Hau Ngāti Kahungunu, she runs wānanga on karanga. And I had been wanting to participate her wānanga for a long time. And then I had the opportunity to attend our own, what we call here in Rotorua, our papai wānanga, where we learn karanga. And in Raina Ferris actually speaks. There's a YouTube video with her speaking about our atua wāhine mahuika and how she's like fire burning within us. And that Ruahinetanga is a transformative phase of our lives, because it's preparing us for our next role, which is traditionally would be karanga on the marae, would be on the paipai. So we karakia. Those are our roles, and that really impacted me. And so I really wanted to understand what she meant. So when I learned the art of karanga, it was, I understood what she meant. Standing on the maho of my marae in front of our kuia, learning the karanga. And when I did my first karanga, it was powerful. It was so powerful. And one of our kuia came up to me afterwards and she says, she says, because when you're doing the karanga, you have to invoke emotion, and you're talking to our tupuna, or their tupuna, our tupuna, and you're actually the key thing for me was that one of our queer here, Auntie Norma Sturley, she said, you have to maintain and uphold the mana of the marae. And I really wanted to push myself to karanga because that was so out of my, comfort zone.
Yeah.
We've got our iwi there, but I'm glad I did it because I felt a shift, and it was the beginning. And this puka puka of ngā hui is kind of, it explains where this journey.
Yeah.
Journey. So I encourage any wāhine out there, if you have the opportunity to learn karanga, go and do it. It's really empowering, and it helps you understand. Yes, I am experiencing all these symptoms, but actually this is more than that. It's transformative, and embrace it.
That's so key, isn't it? And your learning of the karanga there partnered with that shift that is going on inside your system, right? And so then there's that next evolution, which can be so incredibly powerful. As a post-menopausal woman, we can really step into our power. And what an incredible doorway for you to walk into and to jump into the fire, so to speak, and do that. Yeah. Wow. I can really feel that in the cells of my body. Yeah. Oh, so exciting. That's because what started my journey with thinking about menopause and women's potential to psychologically empower ourselves was a book called The Upgrade, and it's by an American psychiatrist, and she talks about how our brain changes and how through the perimenopausal journey it's very up and down and roller coaster, but we're creating new pathways to be able to open up into that next chapter. And different context, different framework, but the similar truth at the core of it is what I'm hearing. Yeah. And I think you go. Yeah. I've got so much to say, but you speak.
Oh no, it does. You.
Oh, what I wanted to say was often women come to me and they want the diet to fix the changing physical body, right? They want to lose the weight. And what's the other piece? Oh, exercise. So they focus on diet and exercise. But if we can go underneath that, always what we're seeking is greater empowerment. And I think that's why, for me, your symposium is ringing so true, like right in the core of my being, because this is actually what we're seeking. Even if we're not fully aware of it, it's like this empowerment. And this is, even though, we can struggle with all of those symptoms that go on, it's a bridge to something more. So I'm just so thrilled that you're offering this. Yeah. Do we know much about pre-colonization and Ruahinetanga? Do we know much about that?
No, not really. Some of the research that I have come across, it doesn't really speak to perimenopausal symptoms.
Yeah.
It speaks to that stage of life.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where, I guess, Awhitia's kōrero will enlighten us on what that means in terms of that stage of life. So some of the research that I've come across is that stage of life, or ruahine, which I guess transliterately is aging woman or older woman, that is their role is to nurture our wāhine that are going through haputanga. We karakia during birth. So those are the roles, we no longer have, I guess, childbearing properties. So our role is then to manaki and our younger generation of wāhine. So no, in terms of if you're going to be specific about perimenopausal symptoms, it just speaks of that stage.
That deeper sort of, but that deeper sort of role change. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And who do you think the symposium would be amazing for? Like, what kind of woman is going to benefit from this? Is it only for Māori women? Is it for non-Māori as well?
No, I believe anything Māori is good for the world.
Yeah. Right?
So it's for all wāhine. I think I had one query about a wāhine non-Māori. Where was she from? I think she was from Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just asking if they were able to attend and if the symposium was going to be in Te Ao Māori or, English. And so no, I was like, no, haere mai. We're all welcome. But I guess there has been a lot of interest from rongoā kaimahi practitioners, a few in the health sector, some nurses. I know I've got a Māori doctor coming. So there's a diverse range of wāhine that are interested in it. Some for themselves to see how they can, what mātauranga they can gain for their own, journey. And someone to come to see how they can implement some of the kōrero and knowledge into their own practice.
Yeah.
So, I guess our goal at the end of it is that we build the framework and I am having kōrero with the other GPs as to how we can support the females in the wāhine that they're working with. And so we will be looking at a pilot wānanga early next year. We'll be hosting that here, and we're hoping to get some wāhine from the symposium to attend so that we can, get their feedback and see how we can improve. So the wānanga is really based around whakapapa, first and foremost. It's around kōrero, looking at our whakapapa lines to see if we can identify key, markers in our queer and how they manage what resilience, what can we gain, or what can we grasp from their journey. And so we're not there to tell you, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is what you need to do. The wāhine that will attend the wānanga will be creating their own plans. But we're going to have the resources there. Like, okay, that resonates with me, so I can take a bit of that. That resonates with me. But in a recent survey, we've still got it up on our Ruahinetanga page, over, I think, 81% of the people that participated in the survey are interested in rongoā Māori. So, that's a good indication that, okay, we need a real robust, plan around what that looks like for our wāhine.
That's blowing me away that this is going on to the wānanga next year, and because that opens up so much for wāhine to be able to dive into our own journey and create our own pathway with it. Yeah. It's very different, isn't it, to going to our GP and sticking a patch on and taking the progesterone capsules and hoping for the best. While all the other structures in our life are changing at this time, relationship, family, mahi, all the rest of it. From your personal journey with perimenopause, what would you say to women who are in that stage of life and just feeling quite lost? What would you say to them if you had some advice?
What would I say to a wāhine? I would encourage them to look into their whakapapa, to look into, who do they have in their whakapapa, in their, their parents, their mum, their grandmother. First, look into that, the way that they, manage that stage of life. First, look into that. And then I would encourage them to have faith. I really believe that they need to have faith in something bigger than themselves, or themselves, actually. And to not feel whakamā, not to feel ashamed, because we're all different. We all have, and the symptoms are all different, but they're the same.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I think first and foremost, they need to not feel like a failure, and they have to, and that's where I believe that looking back to our queer is going to give you the strength to look deeper into who you are. That's what it's really all about, is who am I now? And for a lot of our Māori wāhine, Māori, at our age, a lot are raising their grandchildren. And that's just the way that it is at the moment, because our younger generation, some of them, fall into addiction, or they just fall into some depression, mental health. It affects our wāhine. And so a lot of our nannies that are going through menopause, they haven't even got time to think about themselves, because they're raising their grandchildren. They're being parents to their grandchildren. And so, and I speak from my experience. My husband and I raised two of our grandsons, and they're now back with their mum. But, we were being parents when we should have been grandparents. So that's another, key factor, is finding your purpose at this stage of life. That and accepting that we're not the young person that we were 5-10 years ago. Who are we now? Who is Priscilla? Who am I now? That's what we need to do, and find faith. Have faith that you can, your purpose can evolve.
As you're talking, I was sitting here going, why am I feeling really emotional about this? And it's because of there's so much truth that you're speaking to in this. And it's the underlying need and I think evolution or empowerment that's coming through for us at this time. As hard as all of that surface level stuff is, and it is a very, sandwiched, can be very high pressure time of life, all the while our physical body is really struggling, the fatigue that comes along with it for some women anyway. But that deeper awakening, for want of a better word, it's what's coming through. Like, that's what nature is bringing through for us. Yeah.
Yes. And I truly believe that, because I stopped patches at the end of the year, and I just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper in, even meditating, karakia, and just, I guess, when you are, and this is really hard, Eka Tolle has a video, and he talks about remaining present, even, when you're frustrated. In that moment, it's really important to bring yourself back to the present. And a good way of doing that is like just naming things. That's a fridge, and then all of a sudden you come back to the present, and then you breathe, and then you should actually start to become more toe within yourself. Or if you want to cry, just cry.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that this work that you're doing is so supportive for us to understand this journey on a deeper level, and that it's totally okay to have the bad days and the fatigue and the hot flushes and the emotion. Like that there is actually nothing wrong with that, and it's the resistance to that is not really, I don't think it's so much caused by us, it's just caused by external society and expectations, right? But if we can give space to that, we can be more present with what is actually unfolding for us.
which is what we're calling for. You know, women that come to me at this stage of life and they feel so lost, but there is that deeper calling that is drawing them forward. And so I think that from what I'm seeing, the work that you're doing is just so incredibly powerful for lifting that up and raising that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm like so thrilled that you were willing to come and chat with me. We've never met, we don't know each other. I was really cheeky on that, what was it? Survey, and asked if somebody wanted to come onto my podcast and talk about the symposium. So I'm so pleased that you said yes to that. Thank you. Yeah. Priscilla, what haven't we talked about that you think is important to share as we sort of round things off a little bit?
I think our health system needs to talk more with our rongoā practitioners and our experts in that field. I had a friend that went to see a GP. It was presented to her as a women's clinic. And what I found really a hoha was that she was given a questionnaire that was Australian. So I was like, throw it in the rubbish because we need our own, you know, if our health system and, you know, our rongoā practitioners come together, and this is what I guess the framework is really all about, is being able to have a resource that will support the women or the wāhine here, not based on some Australian questionnaire, you know, who knows, their whole lifestyle is different over there. I didn't even look at the questions because as soon as I saw it was Australian, I lost interest. So that would be one of my key things. And I think talking to the other doctors and the kōrero I'll have with Linda there, that it's starting to happen. So I'd like it to become the norm, if that's just how we do it for our future generations. That when it comes to their time, it's not an option. That's just how we do it.
That's just in the framework. It's embedded in our health system, and I really think that this is the beginning. And you're right, it absolutely is time, because the conversation around menopause and this midlife stage of life has come a long way. And like you said, in the last 10 years, when I first started on this journey, no one was talking about it. And now everyone's talking about it. And so it's just a perfect time for the symposium that you've created, which just sounds incredible. Can you tell us about when it is and how women can register for it if they're interested?
Sure. So the symposium is in December on the 14th. We will start registrations at 7:30, and then we'll move on into the evening. We have a cabaret afterwards as well, and that's just going to be stunning. We've got Wairea Performing Arts, and I don't know, they just recently got back from travelling with the New Zealand, I think it's Symphony Orchestra, toured Europe. And so they are going to really, I guess, invoke a lot of emotion because they are representing our atua wāhine. So that's in the evening. So tickets and information can be found on our website, which is www.toiwahine.io. And we're just all are welcome. All are welcome.
Priscilla, I really, really thank you for our kōrero today. It has been incredible. Yeah, when I saw this, I really wanted to share about it with my listeners and hopefully to a wider audience. And I guess the more people that hear about it, the more people that can, make the choice to come if that's connecting with them. But beyond that as well, I see, and hear what you're doing to open up, obviously the framework that can really impact wāhine health long term, which is massive. It's just so needed, right? Yeah. It's like a knitting, for me anyway, it's like a knitting back together. And it's so needed and so empowering. So I thank you so much. All of the links to register, to your socials. I really love I think it's a Facebook group that you've created around the symposium. I love seeing your videos pop up there and the information that's coming through, even from someone who is unable to go. I feel really part of that. So we'll put all those links there.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for having me and inviting me. It's been great talking to you and sharing my kōrero and the kōrero about the symposium. I feel a shift in Te Ao world, our Māori, our Pākehā, so I love this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Hey, thanks for joining me on the podcast. Really appreciate you. Check out my course where we just go so much deeper than I can ever do on a podcast over an 8-week period. The Midlife Upgrade course is a blend of video and learning modules and weekly live calls where you will discover a roadmap for psychological freedom in midlife. Check out all the details on my website. I really would love to have you join the course, megancare.co.nz/course.